We made a mead from Blackberry Jam a year ago, and today we're gonna drink it. Welcome to the tasting room, where we drink adult beverages
and judge them.
I'm Brian.
I'm Derica.
And this is our Blackberry Jam mead, aged 1 year, 15% with a final gravity of 1.020. If you don't know what any of that stuff means, we have another channel called City Steading Brews where we teach you how to make this stuff, and that's where we made this one.
We also have another channel called the Fermenstation, which is our podcast where we deep dive those topics. So some of that will actually be better explained there.
Yeah, specific gravity especially. But 1.020 is considered on the sweeter side, so it's not dry. It's semi-sweet.
But it's Blackberry Jam. You would anticipate that should taste sweet, right? If that came out dry with that name, that would just be a little off-putting in my personal opinion.
It'd be weird. Somebody said, the new word in science is not eureka, it's, well, that's weird. That was on one of our latest videos. All right, so looking at this.
It's got a great color.
It's like a lovely goldeny honey color.
But it's got kind of like a peachy hue. It's crystal clear. It's beautifully clear.
I'm going to say what I always say. It looks like whiskey. It really does. It's got like that reddish, brownish thing going. It looks like bourbon.
So there's this weird thing that happens in makeup discussions. I know some of you are rolling your eyes at me. I'm rolling my eyes at me because makeup's not my thing. But they talk about blue being in a color that you wouldn't typically associate with blue. And if you look at this really carefully, it's because it's not orange, it's not pink. It's like it's got a little bit of blue in there to make it an unusual color. Not enough to make it look blue, but...
Sure. I don't see it. Many decades of color theory as a photographer, I'm not seeing blue here at all. But it's okay. Who am I to disrupt a makeup thing, you know? On the smell, there's an interesting alcohol smell that I often get from Melomels, and I'm getting it here.
It smells almost bochetted to me.
Yes, and that's it. You call it a burnt smell or a cooked smell.
Yeah.
And yeah, it kind of is.
I think also because we actually used jam to make
that was already cooked.
That might be coming through on the aroma as well.
Yeah, one thing that a lot of people said on that particular video was that we should have blended up the jam or broken up the jam. I would like to point out something. It worked. We didn't have to break it up. The yeast got to it. And as far as clearing, this came out perfectly clear. I don't think we used anything to clear that, but we might have used pectic enzyme in it. I don't know. We don't watch those videos before we do this on purpose.
There was one jam thing, but I want to think it was a strawberry that we
did nothing.
Specifically didn't use pectic enzyme in, and it came out crystal clear too. So
I don't think we did on this either, but I could be wrong. Somebody's going to tell me. Let me know.
I am getting the honey note.
Yeah, there's definitely honey in it.
On there.
Some blackberry, some fruit, like berry fruit.
To be honest, it's not doing it for me on the aroma.
Yeah, it's not the strongest aroma. I'll go along.
Let's see what it tastes like.
All right, here we go. What the smell lacked, the taste made up for.
Oh. So it does that instant coating thing.
Mm-hmm. Nice and viscous.
It's a different coating sensation than anything else we've ever brewed, and I really can't attribute to why it's different to me right now.
It's the combination of the tannins and the sugars.
But you definitely get midway, I'm getting more of the pronounced honey, because like the sensation is first, and then I'm getting honey, and then it's at the very end, at the swallow and the finish, that it's like berry pie. It's delightful finish.
I agree with everything you just said. There is a slight bitter note there that I get from meads pretty often. Sometimes I try to sweeten it out. This time we didn't. It's not offensive. It's just something that's there. I think it's a balancing note, though. A lot of the time, if something comes out really sweet, that extra bitter balances that out. And I might be the only one that tastes that bitter note in mead. I don't know. It's just a thing.
I feel like I'm getting a bit of like a graham cracker sensation in the mix there.
Really? I'm not. You get a cereal note, is what you're saying. Some type of a grainy kind of thing?
But more like a A baked good, like a sweet spiced baked good.
Oh. I may need more to test that.
For science. This is also reminding me a lot of one of my favorite offerings by Two Warriors Meadery, and that is their blueberry lemon pie.
Blueberry lemon pie.
Yeah. It obviously doesn't have the same profile because it doesn't have the lemon and doesn't have blueberry. It's differently.
See, now on that one also, I never got the graham cracker flavor or even sensation that you're getting. So that could be a thing that I just don't taste it that way. Mm-hmm. And that's the funny thing about tasting anything is you know a taste because of how you remember that taste.
Yep.
Your brain will make up, it'll fill in gaps. When that flavor is not really there, your brain will fill in gaps and say, oh, that's what this reminds me of. So immediately that's what you latch onto. And now you believe that's what it is. That's why everything tastes like chicken.
But yeah, so if you are ever tasting with a group of people and you get a flavor that somebody else doesn't, or they get a flavor that you're not getting,
you can almost suggestively get them to taste
that
it. That
doesn't mean that either of you are wrong or right. Flavor and perception of things is very unique to the individual and their life experiences. And as Brian already mentioned, the memory thing is really what your brain is doing to try to connect a sensation to a descriptive word. And
the smell is a little perfumey. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt that.
No, it's okay. I was basically done with my...
Cooked flowers with honey. That's what it smells like.
Yeah, it definitely has a floral note.
Smells like perfume. Not in a bad way. Just
for me, it's more pastoral. Like I'm getting almost some...
you're getting earthy, grassy.
Some grassy notes in there too. Like flowers in a grassy
See,
field.
I just get like fruity, floral, light, but almost slightly cooked. Like cooked fruit with flowers on it and honey. I know it sounds weird for us to... I'm just saying, that's what it's like.
Yeah.
If you took cooked fruit and threw some flowers into a bowl and poured honey over the top and mixed that together and then took a good whiff of it, that's pretty much what this smells like to me. On the taste, though, it's actually really, really nice.
It was funny. This is a side note thing that's fresh in my mind, and so I am thinking about it a lot. We recently, and I don't think it's been released yet, did a whiskey tasting. And so I did some deep dive research on that specific type of whiskey. And I don't want to give anything away, but it was very interesting that the original process for that particular style of whiskey
comes out after that.
Was perfume.
Oh.
They were distilling to make perfume.
Oh, okay.
And if you come about that route that way, it starts to fall into place and make more sense why that style of whiskey is so unique coming from that.
You're talking about Irish whiskey, right?
Yes, I'm talking about Irish whiskey.
It's okay. You could say it. This comes out after that.
Okay.
And if they didn't see it, go watch it. We'll wait.
Link in the description below.
But on the taste, I think this is pleasant. I don't think this is the best thing we've ever made. And I'm trying... See, this is the point where I go, all right, I've tasted it. I've evaluated it. What could we have done differently to make this taste better? The only thing I can really see is adding more berry flavor afterwards. Like if we had put frozen berries or more jam in after fermentation to get more of a fresher, fruity flavor.
Yeah.
And or more sweetening.
Or knowing that this is going to make a pie adjacent thing, pushing the pie.
Right.
Getting more...
But then my question becomes, did we not just change it into something that it wasn't meant to be? And that's always the question that we run into.
Right.
As a home brewer, if I was making this for myself and I didn't have to make a show where I explained to people how to make a Blackberry Jam mead, I might have done some of those things because I don't care what it's called at the end. I just want to enjoy it. So that's somewhat of a discrepancy that we have as a home brewing channel, because if we made this into something completely different by the end, it might lose people. Or how do we describe that so that people could find it if that's what they were looking for? And that's some of the difficult, I know, first world problems, right? I think you know what I mean.
I think for you, you would probably appreciate this more if we pushed more of the pie route and you got some spices in there.
Maybe a
and-
little bit of spices, but not a
enhanced-
lot. Nutmeg would be nice on this.
Right. And then get some, like, even use the graham cracker
Yeah.
extract to get it more baked good.
Then it would be like a
berry
blackberry
combo.
pie.
Right.
And then it wouldn't be blackberry jam anymore. See, that's the
Right.
thing. It'd be a different thing.
Right.
And that's okay too. There's nothing wrong with doing it that way. And there's nothing wrong with the evolution of a brew from what you had intended it to be to what it ends up. I'm just trying to explain the difference of, like, you understand, of doing this as a show, trying to evolve it that way can be complicated. So that's why sometimes we don't. Like, we could go further and make this better, but we stop because of the explanatory route. And that's part of why I really like having this channel, because we can be a little bit more relaxed and we can really dig into what could we do differently here. And that's two different routes right there. We could make it more fruity and more sweet, or we can make it a little bit, like, have a little bit of spice to it and go with the pie idea. Two different routes. So it's like 3 different variations already. We have what we have and then 2 other variations. Yeah. And there's more. I mean, vanilla would actually make this really interesting
There's
too.
more. I would add vanilla to the pie combo.
Just
As you can tell,
top me
we hate it.
yeah,
It's the worst thing ever.
it's actually really good. And that's the tricky thing about doing tastings like this, not just of other brews, but of our own especially, because we want to know, like, how could this be better? What could we have done to make it better? Should we make it better? And are we just being super judgmental? But also, we have to be nitpicky, because if we just say, yep, this is good, that would be a really boring video. I mean, it'd be like 5 seconds long, or this is bad. I don't, like, if I was watching a video like this, I would want more information. And that's why we try to give as much as we can. Maybe too much sometimes. I don't know. Can you overshare on tasting notes? I mean, I guess you could. But I am getting the basic essentials necessary for a Blackberry Jam mead.
Yep.
And I'm getting them in a nice way, which that means this is a successful brew.
Yep.
Without a doubt. Can it be made better? Well, yeah. I think almost everything can be made better in some way.
Sure.
Could we make it better? And in keeping to Blackberry Jam mead, there comes the tricky bits, like I was talking about.
Right. And like we talk about adding flavors to make it go one direction or another, but what would you add to keep it Blackberry Jam?
More blackberry.
More blackberry?
I think more Blackberry Jam. And that's kind of where I'm at. Like, the most simple way to improve this would have been to add more Blackberry Jam in conditioning, but that would have required breaking it up, because now we don't have yeast to break it up. So that's probably why we didn't do it at the time. And if we added fresh blackberries, it defeats the purpose of calling it Blackberry Jam. You see the problems, the first world problems that we run into doing this stuff,
All right. Are you ready with a number?
I'm thinking about it. I on your screen right now, you're probably seeing our tasting scoring notes. They basically go 1 through 10 with the occasional 11. And I'm having a really tough time with this one, because I'm torn between a couple of ways to go. So the way I'm going to score this in my head, I mean, this is kind of like whose line is it anyway? We just make this up as we go, and the scores don't really matter.
They don't.
And because here's what will always happen is someone will compare it to what we did a year ago, and not take into account that our tastes change. We might be more picky. There's a lot of things going on. So if we give it even a point higher now than we did then, or a point lower, doesn't necessarily mean it's better or worse. It just means this is how we felt about it today. Okay, so that's something to remember.
Yeah.
You can't possibly taste something now and 6 months from now and remember exactly what it tasted like to be able to compare.
But if you compare this video with the original making video, which I will make sure to link in the description below, and what we talked about it, how we described it,
That's much more important.
that's going to be more important than the number we gave.
Yeah, the notes that we give are way more important than the score. The score is just for funsies, So, like I started to say, the way I'm going to score this is, if someone handed this to me and said, what do you think of this? Not knowing anything about it, not giving it a name, not having a title. What do I think of it? How is it? I'm ready. Do you have a number?
I do.
1, 2, 3, 7. Wow. Yep. And that puts it just below the great category. And that's exactly where I see this as. It's on the top end of good, not quite great.
It's good, as you can tell by how many glasses we
Yeah.
poured. But it's not quite
Yeah.
there. It's lacking, but also too much in other areas.
Just a little push could put this into great,
the
though.
cooked note.
It's a little strong.
It's a little annoying. I want it to be toned down a bit.
And one thing that I'm learning in doing tastings like this too is you kind of have to live with it a little, because my first impression is different than my impression now. And I feel like when we do a recipe video, the tasting at the end isn't really a true tasting. I hope people realize that. It's just our impressions of it at that time. We just take a small sip and that's it. This is really the true tasting, where we examine it, we talk about it for a while, we have some more time, and that's what you're here for, is a tasting.
Right.
You know, with the other channel, it's more about the recipes.
Yep. That said, even though that cook note is a little overly pronounced in my opinion, I'm still really enjoying this.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. 7 is still a pretty good score. It just means it's a notch below great. That's all.
But as you can see by our discussion, we don't know for sure what we would do to improve this, staying in the vein of Blackberry Jam Mead.
Now, here's the other thing. All things in balance. So if we were to change this in any way, it could alter the balance of other flavors. Adding vanilla or the graham cracker might reduce the amount of fruity notes that we get, making it less favorable that way.
Yep.
Going with a little bit of spice might overpower any of the floral notes that we're getting from the honey.
Yep.
So there's all these little things that come into play. And that's why I love doing tastings this way, because we get to really explore those things and talk about them. And over time, you build up this massive experience of, well, I remember when we did this, or I remember when we did that, and it changed it, and how did it change it? And it doesn't always change it the same way every time, but do it enough times and you go, yep, I remember that. And that's why a lot of times, like on the show here, our podcast, and on the City Steading Brews, you might hear either of us just go, nope, not going to do that. And you might not know why we're saying that. That's why. It's because we've had the experience of the bad things that come from that thing being done, whatever that bad thing is. I don't know. We're just talking in theoreticals here. Yeah, it depends on the day. So we know don't ever do that, or don't do that. And I guess we need to start explaining that a little bit more maybe when we have those kind of situations arise.
Now, all of our one-year tastings from here forth are going to be here at the tasting room. But if there's something that you're interested in that we brewed on City Steading Brews in the before times, check out that channel, because that's where those one-year tastings still
are. All the new stuff is here, but there are still some older one-year tastings on CSB. Absolutely. If there are brews that you would like to see us try that we can get, and they are legal in the United States.
Commercial.
Yeah, commercial stuff mostly. Leave a comment below this video and we will do our best to add it to our list and see if we can find it. The list is getting quite lengthy. I think there's at least 60 things on there now. But hey, we take those suggestions seriously.
You do.
And we're looking for them, and as they get found and as we can film them, you're going to see them. But as always, guys, thanks so much for watching and have a great day.
Bye-bye.